Dear viewers, when you come in contact with a legendary person like Nilesh Shah, every minute that you spend with him, you walk back home with treasure of knowledge. Recently, we had organized one webinar exclusively for our clients and viewers of NRI Money Clinic. We had published one portion of my interview with Mr. Nilesh Shah. There was another portion where the managing director of Symphony Private Limited, Mr. Amit Basu, asked a lot of questions to Mr. Nilesh Shah, getting his views on how people have to look at investment by looking at or correlating with the real life experiences they have gone through. In this episode, we are going to publish a select portion of candid conversation between Mr. Amit Basu and Mr. Nilesh Shah that went on during that webinar. This is NRI Money Clinic for you, and I am Dr. Chandrakant Bhatt, your financial guide for a happy living.
NRI Money Clinic. No hype, just the right advice.
Welcome everyone to this candid conversations that we are having with Mr. Nilesh Shah. Nilesh Shah, thank you so much for giving us the time. The first question that we have for you, it is basically to draw some inspiration from your personal life. And what we observed is that you're a chartered accountant, and unlike any other profession, chartered accountancy is a profession where the entry is very smooth and very simple. But you do a lot of things to make sure that you complete your course and become a CA. Unlike a medical course or engineering course where the entry is very difficult and the exit is relatively easy in terms of comparison. The wealth creation journey also looks very similar to a CA journey, where the entry is very simple. You start a SIP, you sign an application form and journey starts. The beauty is that who are the people who are going to complete the journey? Anything which you think which helped you in doing the CA journey, which is going to help people complete their wealth creation journey also? Some similarity which you find?
Yes, Amit Bhai. The journey of studying a course like CA and wealth creation is almost similar. In CA, I was lucky to have a friend who will, tell me these are the topics to focus upon, put maximum time over there. These are the topics which you can glance through. The probability of questions coming from those topics are very limited. And these are the topics which you can ignore. You need someone to say this is important, this is unimportant. Second thing, in the CA, if you do regular study, it is far more helpful. For me, I was doing my articleship and getting leave was a challenge. So I used to do regular study. Regular investment is also helpful. Little drops of water make an ocean. The third thing which is critical is that I was number one in my batch. Now, did I know one subject very well? Answer is no. You have to study all the subjects. That's how you can become number one. The same thing is true in wealth. You need to be diversified. Like you need to study accountancy, taxation, law. You have to invest in debt, equity, real estate, gold, and so on and so forth. So have a guide, do regular investment, be disciplined in asset allocation, and boom, like I cleared my CA exam, you will be able to get financial security.
Great, sir. So picking up from what you mentioned, you were the gold medalist in your batch, and somewhere you have said that on that particular day, there will be top 50 who will be almost equal in their skills. What mattered on that day was probably luck, and luck favored you and you had a better output. In performance also, in fund performance also, it is seen that relatively the skills of managers are coming very close to each other. So you don't have a large difference in terms of skill set. The output, this performance, is sometimes very diverse and sometimes they're very, very close to each other. Now the choice or the question that or the difficulty that we face is that when you have to pick up someone, how do we pick up that this output has come because of skills, and how do you calculate the amount of luck which has gone in that output? So how do you judge it, that whether it is output based on skill or mostly skill, or there's an element of luck in that? Any guidance you can give us on this?
There was this famous movie Diwar, where there was a scene where Iftikhar goes to a shoe polish wala and the guy says कि मैं फेंके हुए पैसे नहीं उठाता.
Sure.
And then Iftekhar says, "Ye lambi race ka ghoda hai." Same way, when you are investing, you have to pick up lambi race ka ghoda. Very easy to say, but very difficult to pick up. One way to identify lambi race ka ghoda is the fund manager saying what he's doing, and is he doing what he's saying? If I give gyan on value investing here and my portfolio is comprising of all the momentum stocks, I am a liar. Don't go with performance which is driven by momentum. Go by performance which is created by process. And the only way to figure that out is by observing fund manager doing what he is saying and saying what he is doing. If there is a unmatch over there, then you can very well let go that fund manager. At best, you will lose short-term performance, but you will have a peaceful sleep over a long period of time.
So we have to give some time to see that what he is saying and what he is doing are in harmony with each other.
Absolutely.
So one more observation, and this is again based on your life. So you were a student of Gujarati medium, and when you ended up in a job in ICICI, you found that the environment is where English is being seen as a skill rather than a language, and you had to start learning that language. So what did you tell yourself? How did you inspire yourself to again relearn or learn something which was not very convenient for you at that stage? What was the origin and inspiration behind that?
So when I moved from Gujarati medium school to English medium college, it was difficult. But then, you could study the book, you can write English, and you could get away with that. The real challenge was in conversation. The real challenge was in, coming confidently to say your thought process in a English language. Fortunately, my whole study was more related to maths, accounts, law, taxation, where language is not that critical. Your knowledge of concepts is far more critical. But when you come to job, those concepts you have to apply in business, but in conversation you have to speak. In writing, you have to write later. I remember on my day one, I had to write one simple letter about 18 times because I was making grammatical error. And my boss was so nice. He kept on correcting me, kept on sending me back, and kept on pushing me to write a letter which will be grammatically correct. Thanks to that kind of bosses, I was pushed to work hard. And then I realized that while I have studied lots of books on commercial side, education side, my vocabulary is limited, my grammar is limited because I haven't studied English literature, English books, and so on and so forth. So then in ICICI, where I had started my career, we had a nice library. In those days, Kindle was not there. So you keep on picking up books, keep on reading, started picking up newspaper and reading, eventually reading, whatever was available from literature to business journal. That kind of helped you build your vocabulary. You could, speak with confidence to outside world. And yes, even today, I wouldn't dare say that my grammar is perfect. But certainly, I don't have to correct a letter 18 times now. One or two mistakes, and I'll be done.
No, excellent point, sir. I think we are sometimes facing a situation where we have to learn something which we have not done in our lives. And markets and industry and economy, social, political, global events, personal events, they all teach us this lesson. And we should humbly accept that as a challenge and kind of pursue that. So that was the motive behind asking you that question, that how did you manage to do that? One more point that you have often mentioned is that because you had an exposure of handling fixed income and equity both, you could see the ideas which were cross-pollinated against each other. And you could take advantage of seeing equity from the eyes of a debt fund manager and see debt from the eyes of equity fund manager. And sometimes those help you, give you some lead indication about something is going to happen. So how did it help in kind of forecasting? I will not say forecasting, but making a calculated guess about what future is going to unfold. And do you see something similar happening in these times where states are in a state of flux and things are changing very, very rapidly around us?
So as investment manager, you have to do multi-processing of information. Now, many a times as equity fund manager, we could be more bottom-up oriented, looking at the company rather than the ecosystem and environment. As a debt fund manager, many a times we start from top down, looking at inflation and interest rate environment, and then come bottom up. If you have done both the jobs, top down and bottom up, debt and equity, you are able to create that ideal blend which will help you take better decisions. It's not that I have not made mistakes, I have made many mistakes. But being a debt fund manager as well as equity fund manager, I have avoided making many more mistakes. This combination of debt and equity knowledge creates a blend of top-down and bottom-up approach. This is becoming more like your, natural side. It's like on the off side, Saurav Ganguly is God. On the on side, he is not as good. The debt and equity experience gave me my natural side as a top-down come bottom-up. If I would not have been a debt fund manager, I would have to develop that side. I would have to develop that ability. Today, it is coming naturally to me.
Anything in the current environment which you are picking up from either side, debt or equity?
So now I'm more in management job and not, managing portfolios. But undoubtedly, today when I sit with my fund managers, I'm able to add value to them because I keep on analyzing various factors, both macro as well as micro, and again get as many information as possible, separate the noise, and then take a decision. By and large, that decision will work.
So another question from your personal journey. When you passed out of the C exam and you were the gold medalist, and you went for a job at L&T and you got selected there, and you then decided that you will move to ICICI Bank and start your career there. Hypothetical question: had you been in L&T and you would have been asked to create the same amount of wealth, what you would have done? I'm asking the question because there are a lot of people on this call who are in corporate jobs, in top management, middle management levels, which are not connected to financial services. And their aspirations also is to create wealth over a period of time. First, to take care of aspirations. Second, to pass it on to the next generation. And third, possibly to do some philanthropy also. So wealth is needed for all three. What is the advice you will give to a person who is in a similar situation, in a top management job in a non-financial industry, and what he should do?
So, Amit bhai, investment is all about common sense. We all carry this misimpression that for investment you require lots of knowledge. I think we require lots of wisdom. What we require is common sense, which is not so commonly available, unfortunately. I'll give you a small example. Peter Lynch was fund manager of Fidelity Magellan, world's largest equity fund in his time. He had a big team supporting doing his fund management. One day he took his team to a school and said, all the fund managers of my team, you will build a portfolio and the school kids will build a portfolio. And in 1 year, your portfolio should outperform kids' portfolio. The fund managers' ego got hurt. They were desperate to win. They could not have lost against a bunch of kids. They built a high-risk, high-return portfolio. The school kids, they didn't know who Peter Lynch was, who their competition was. For them, it was fun. They picked up stocks based on what items they were consuming or what company or brands they were knowing. So someone was eating Cadbury, so he wrote down Cadbury company name. Someone had cereals in the morning, he wrote down cereal company's name. Someone had drunk cola, he wrote down cola's name, so on and so forth. No wonder 1 year down the line, the kids' portfolio outperformed fund managers by a margin. Fund managers went with knowledge. They created high-risk, high-return portfolio because they didn't want to lose. In the end, risk came forward, returns didn't appear. Kids used their wisdom. They bought those companies whose products they were using for years and months. They delivered best performance. So all I'm requesting viewers, investment is all about common sense. It is far more psychology and human behavior than accounting and balance sheet and annual report. If you can manage your greed and fear well, if you can optimize risk and return well, I think you will be a successful investor.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for this advice that common sense is required and common sense is not very commonly available. And what is not commonly available, which is scarce and which is sometimes perishable in nature, has got more value than what is abundant and cheap, or say low cost. So thank you for that advice. One question is on view which you have on interest rates. How are they moving ahead in most likely direction? What do you think interest rates are going to behave like?
So Indian interest rates today are nearing their peak. The US Fed market expects will raise interest rates by 0.5 percentage point and then peak out. And they may start cutting interest rates by end of 23. The trajectory of Indian interest rates will copy US trajectory. We expect RBI to raise interest rates by 25 basis points in next policy and cut interest rates to support growth probably in the first half of 2024. Markets anyway discount things early. So effectively we can say that we are looking at interest rates peaking out in India somewhere from here till June 23 and rate cut cycle to begin in first half of 2024.
And the question from Mr. Madhusudan, which is like, what can possibly go wrong? What are the ways we can go wrong on this hypothesis that we are building upon?
So we have missed many opportunities in the past, and that is why countries like Japan, Korea, China has overtaken us. If I give a very simple example, Indians should be aware of self-goal risk. Tata's wanted to set up their automobile factory in Singur, West Bengal. For years they struggled, but the factory could not be set up. They were moving out of Singur. They got a red carpet treatment in Sanand, Gujarat. It is rumored that Mr. Modi, then Chief Minister of Gujarat, sent a welcome SMS to Sri Ratan Tata, who was head of Tata Motors, Tata Group. Tata Motors came to Sanand, and in 18 months, nano cars started getting rolled out from the factory. If whole of India follows Sanand model, there's no other place better than India to make money. If whole of India follows Singur model, this is the best time to exit India. Our feeling is that we'll have more of Sanand than less of Singur in our model. That's why markets will keep on going up and down. But over a longer period of time, it will move up. The day you feel that Indians are following Singur model, please exit India.
So another question is from Mr. Sridhar, and he's asking whether it's the right time to get into real estate in India. Any views you have on this?
So in India, cities are changing. The city of Mumbai was in Fountain. The commercial part of Mumbai was in Fountain and Nariman Point. From there, it has moved to Lower Parel and Bandra Kurla complex. If you invest where the city is moving, your opportunity to make money is higher. The same thing happened in Ahmedabad. City shifted from walled city to Ashram Road to CG Road to Satellite Road to Sardar Patel Road. Every time you invested where the city was expanding, you ended up making money. In India, there are many cities which are growing at a rapid pace. If you can buy a property where city is expanding, by and large, it will do well. If you buy commercial property, you get good rental yield. If you buy residential property, rental yields will be very, very low. So my recommendation is that keep one house in India for your stay. But in terms of other properties, try to be in commercial property, which gives you good rental yield.
And we take the last question, sir, from Mr. Manish Kavra. He said that the universe of stocks which is available for investment by any mutual fund is obviously the same. Or the top 200, 250, maybe 500 stocks in India are being seen as a universe from which you build a portfolio. So if everything is the same for choosing, and how do you build a portfolio of mutual fund, because they are using the same universe to build their portfolios? How do you pick a portfolio? Is it the fund manager? Is it the performance? Is it something else that you would like to highlight?
Undoubtedly, if you have 500 stocks, there are 70 or 80 stocks which actually create value over a period of time. As fund manager, Our job is to identify those 70, 80 companies and stay invested with them. Obviously, we make mistakes, and many a times we end up choosing companies which we regret later. But in stock market, gains and losses, risk and return are part of the same coin. As more and more companies get listed, our universe is expanding. When I joined Kotak Mutual Fund 8 years ago, we were probably researching 200 odd companies. Today, we are at more than 350 companies. We had about 6 or 7 research analysts. Today, we have more than a dozen research analysts. Clearly, as the size of GDP is expanding, as more companies are getting listed, opportunities are getting created, and we as professional fund managers have to focus upon those companies which will create value over a period of time. In India, there is abundance of almost all kinds of sectors availability. In Taiwan, electronics and chip become very important part of index. In Korea, few chaebols control the entire index. In China, government is the large contributor of the index. In India, you have public as well as private, electronic as well as non-electronic. There is a blend available. As I say, India is not a country, it's a continent. Our smallest state, Goa, has a population equivalent to probably a very, very small, tiny nation. And the largest state, UP, has a population bigger than Brazil. So we are a continent. There are enough opportunities available in India.
Thank you, sir. And I think it is an honor to have you on this program where you've actually used the data, pulled out information and knowledge and extracted wisdom so that all of us can gain and get clarity on actions that we need to take and also sometimes inactions that we need to take. So if you get clarity on our actions and inactions both, I think it gives a huge confidence, and that is going to help us in creating portfolios which will see and stand the test of time in today's very, very volatile and environment in a state of flux. So thank you so much, sir, for taking out time. Thank you everyone for joining. It was a great honor to have you, sir. And we'll soon catch up with you and have more discussions around it. Thank you so much, sir.
Press the bell icon for more details and subscribe our channel.